Welcome everyone to the Pro Trader and Plus Oil Open, U.S. Market Open. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. All right, let me throw up a link for Friday's webinar. 2 seconds. So we're watching oil, CL 0426. Good morning, everyone. Did anybody look at API last night? Did anybody look at Australia last night? Oh, good. And what I'd love to know how, so I could put it into a tech file. So if somebody has the same problem, we can help them. Because, so maybe I'll reach out to her. Do you know what happened or no? And I don't mean to put all this on you. I'll email her. Okay. Just getting started here, everyone. Mornings sometimes can be tough. And we are streaming this morning. All right. All right, so we're looking at oil, 426. I'm just curious, going back to last night or yesterday afternoon, 4:30. Oh, God. Looking to see API. I would not say that the report has come back to life. It has not come back to life. But that's the API report. The API report. So it looks like it moved about 7 ticks, right? 7 measly little ticks. And
So
this
your
is
trade
why
representative, Chris,
I
as he
don't
was
have a
called, put out a
trade
proclamation of
for the
on
API
15%
report.
tariff.
Now, last night, it was a winner. So every now and then, we've had a winner. Last night was a winner. 19 ticks, roughly on the move initially, and then it should follow through if you stuck around till maybe the news was released. So last night looks like the first good API trade in a year. Maybe. Now I'm laughing. I don't
Chris
know
says that the
if it's a
15%
year. I got to go
proclamation will
back
be
and
in
look
coming
at
days and soon.
a ton of DMMs to get a feel for a good API report. That's the first good, when I say good,
Chris says
more
lower
than
rates of
10
15%
ticks,
were appropriate.
more than 10 ticks. Calvin, very honestly, I prefer to use Microsoft in setting up a machine. I don't like the machine that I'm using without Windows on it. There's so many things that come up. Um, I can't even begin to
Chris
explain it.
says
I
that we
actually
expect the
prefer
EU and the UK to hold up their end of the
installing
bargain.
with Windows, but OneDrive is like a virus. It really is like a virus, in my opinion. It's a really troublesome program. It's a really troublesome program. I mean, a Microsoft account. I actually prefer having a Microsoft account. I really do. Because otherwise there's so much extra configuration that you have to do. It's time consuming. Putting the YM back up, but we could discuss this at another time because I totally understand why lots of people do not want a Microsoft account. But I hate OneDrive. I absolutely despise it. I despise it. It's always causing problems for me. Always. But all right, so she had files going into OneDrive. Wow, that's unbelievable. All right, so we're watching oil. The first thing I'm going to do is put on a reverse continuation on my oil chart. Click News Trader, turn the breakout into a reverse continue. One position for a 20 tick target and a 20 tick stop.
Greer says that so Greer deflects on if EU will rise to 15%. Says details are to come.
20 tick target, 20 tick stop. Choose the account you're trading it in. Now, so last night I traded Australia, which was a big mistake. Now, if you looked at the DMM, you had to be nuts if you traded it. Look at the Australia DMM. Labeling my reversal, CL reverse continue. All right. CL reverse continue. And I'll turn it on. You could see I'm up $25 because I made $25 on the Australia CPI report last night. But I lost over 400 on the initial trade, which was an unsafe breakout. And the reason I didn't have a trade room for the report is because of the behavior of the report. I mean, I explained to everybody that going into the new year, I'm not doing as many, there's a few less rooms, not a lot less rooms, a few less rooms. Let me see, did I already put away the DMM? I did.
Greer says 3-1 spreads and forced labor and seafood are coming soon.
Let me show you something. Oh, why is my machine frozen? Come on. Hang on, folks. I have a frozen file.
US Trade Representative Greer says
All right.
Mexico's
Can you all still
discriminating
hear me?
against US energy
Can you all still
producers.
hear me okay? I'm going to reboot my Ninja. I have a reason for doing this. All right, as long as you can still hear me. For some reason, my document file froze. All right. I wanted to show you the DMM. I'll try
Korea
one more
says
time.
there are transshipment issues with Canada, Mexico.
Okay. So once again, we have a reverse continue on our oil chart. All right. Oil. Let's take a look at oil for a moment on a 30-minute chart. Oil is not a huge trend on a 30-minute chart. It made, if you look at overnight, the API report came out somewhere in here before the market closed. And then oil went down a little bit before the market closed. Then the market opened, oil made new highs, 66.60, and it sold off overnight
Korea says that Canada limits
into the
access
morning.
to
And
U.S.
now it's
tariffs.
bullish, but it's pushing down. So it's been up and down a lot for the last couple of days. Now, is there news right now? I don't see anything at the moment. Mexico is discriminating against U.S. energy producers. Mexico is a mess. Oh my goodness. Mexico. Wow. Wow. Mexico's got problems. Who is going to go take a vacation? They just literally destroyed their whole tourism industry. I'm just looking to see if there was anything. There was Russia and Iran news on oil. Russia and Iran slash oil prices related to China. So there's a lot of energy news this morning. I don't see anything about an OPEC meeting in the news. All right. Anyway, my feelings about this oil trade are it's just not one of my favorite trades. Yesterday we did get target one. If you left your stop alone, it would have hit both targets if you didn't move your stop at all. So we do have a reverse continuation on the chart. That's just a discretionary trade. One position for a 20 tick target with a 20 tick stop. And then we set up a range trade on the oil market open. The oil market open is at 9 in the morning. And I will load my template for the oil market open. And we call that
China and German joint statement says both sides are willing to properly resolve each other's concerns through frank and open dialogue. The
oil
sides
new
both mean well.
open. Oil new open range, pretty sure is what we're calling it. Oil new open range. We're going to right click it and rename it today's date. And load it up. And our range trade. The range starts at 859. All right. The range starts 859. One tick above the range, one tick below the range. What does that mean? That's after the range is
China and German joint
defined
statement says both
by
sides willing to
time.
continue
When the
dialogue on
range
climate
is
change and clean
drawn,
energy.
we will put our long order one tick above the range, and our short order goes one tick below the range. And then show the range graphics on chart means let's draw the range so everyone can see it. All right. And then we're going to end the range, go up top. Trade type is a range trade, ending it at 90040. Position 1 is one contract, position 2 is a contract, and we have target 1 for 8 ticks, target 2 for 20 ticks. The stop is 15. And I do move my stop to BE
Link
minus
includes comments
4.
from US Trade Representative Gray on Bloomberg TV.
Here's the thing. If you hit your first target, that's 8 ticks, and then the trade completely reverses, the stop is 15, so you would lose $70. I don't like to turn a winner into a loser, but sometimes you get a day like yesterday where if you're not managing the trade closely, you might just automatically move your stop to BE minus 4, and then you don't get target 2 if your stop didn't really need to be moved. Now I'll trade this in the prop account that I've been trading for the past couple of days. So I want to explain also what happened with Australia. So our range trade is set up. It's labeled. I've chosen the account. I have a range trade, and I've got my reverse continue. All right. That's oil. CL 426. Just doing a quick check under the market analyzer, looking at the oil contract. We're way far away from rollover, which I thought was true. All right, YM. Putting a quick reverse continue on the chart. Quick reverse continue on the YM chart. $35 target, $35 stop. And we'll label it YM reverse continue. And where are we trading on YM in the mornings? Said I was thinking of trading the YM in our MNQ funded account and see if I can get some traction in that account. I'm going to think about that, how I'm going to deal with that. So this morning, the YM in the YM funded account at the moment, or just one of our funded accounts. All right, so we have our reverse continue. Now we are almost at the high. It's a bullish morning at the moment on the YM. Now, by the way, there is no bond auction today. There's no 7-year. So that trade room is canceled. So you can see the YM is very bullish. I'd like to see it pull back some more off the high. That's what I would like. You don't always get what you like. We are like 37 ticks away from a new high. We'll put our magnet on.
China and Germany joint statement says that both sides emphasize the importance of open dialogue, fair competition, and
I'm
mutual
going to make
market
sure it's
access.
labeled YM magnet. And I'll trade it in that same funded account. Everything on the same account, or it gets too confusing. So doing a high of day, low of day magnet. Target 1 is -3. That's default. Position 2 will go 12 ticks through the magnet. The stop is 50. And if it hits the first target, I'll move my stop to BE. Break even with target one stop move. So first position will exit 3 ticks before it gets to the magnet, which is the default. And then our second position is a 12 target. That means it's going to go 12 ticks through the magnet. But if it hits the first target, we'll do what I almost always do. Target one stop move. I'll go to break even. My magnet is labeled YM. And I'm just looking at the programmer made some changes. I finally got what I was waiting for from the programmer. And so high of day, low of day, proximity is 3. One position, default target, -3. Position 2 is also a 1. Target is 12. My stop is 50 on the magnet. Apply it. I've chosen the account. When you turn on your magnet, you get your orders, right? Now, I don't think we're going to get to the low this morning. I really don't. How many ticks do we have? It's just not a very good trade this morning. It's not a very good magnet. The problem, well, the problem is we're just too darn close. I really want to enter now if if I want to make a little bit of money. That's the problem. We're too close to the magnet already. Is there a bullish trade this morning? Probably, but I'm leaning on waiting for the open this morning. It's a little bit early to trade. I mean, we do it, but it's also a lot of risk. I'd prefer a trade at the open when the market's moving better. Now, we do have an RTY set up for the open. We don't have to set that up yet, but I'll put the chart up so we don't forget about it. Okay? And it's easy to very quickly put an RTY reverse continue on the chart. And we'll do a target of 35 this morning and a stop of 35. And that's what I'm going to do with my MNQ funded account. That's what I said I was going to do. I'm going to trade the RTY morning opens in the same account as my MNQ funded. So RTY, as long as the RTY does not freeze more than occasionally, then I'm going to continue. I'm going to begin to use the RTY. We've had one frozen order day, Monday. So I'm hoping it was an anomaly, and I will have a new prop account this week, I hope, with Tradevate. Micros are wonderful for practice. And if you trade enough contracts, you can make some money. And if you trade gold micros, I mean, it's all about number of contracts, volatility of the market. You can make money with micros. It's harder. It can be harder at times. See, this YM's going to fill. The darn thing's going to fill. Do you want to go long
Order
this early?
submitted.
So I'm doing it. But I don't want to stay in the trade. I just want a quick burst, a small risk below structure here. It's not tiny. That's what I'm willing to risk on this trade this morning. I think it'll just give us a small little trade to this high here. I wanted to show you Australia, but I'll wait now. Right, Nitin, I agree. I agree.
Order filled.
I don't think it's an RTY issue. I think it's a Bullonox rhythmic issue.
Order filled.
Okay, so we got our little magnet. I love these little magnets. I don't love trading this early before the open, but when the YM's that bullish, it's worth a shot. And I did use a smaller stop. All right. So the magnet got us, a small little trade. That's fine. So now I'm just going to watch signals on the YM. Let me show you Australia. We do have an RTY reverse continue. And if you put a random
Order submitted.
trade on and move it around, you can see if your orders at the moment are frozen. Right now, orders data seems to be
Order
fine
canceled.
on the RTY, but the market's quiet now too. Yeah, the YM is bullish this morning. YM is bullish. So our Australia trade, look, you have to really think hard. If you got our DMM yesterday, right? You got our DMM in good conscience. Would you have traded this DMM? There's one winner out of the past 6 Australia CPIs. I mean, January was a small winner. So there's really two. It's a loss, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't a loss. If you traded it and stayed in the market, then you could have had a winner. If you understand, it's important to understand Australia's CPI also. There's a quarterly version. There's a quarterly version of the report, and that's what traded last night. That version of the report moves significantly more than the monthly version. We never even used to look at a monthly version on this report. We just didn't even, it didn't exist. They didn't even release it or put any attention on it at all years ago. So we traded Australia CPI. It was a quarterly report. It was the only way we traded it, and it moved dramatically. And it was a decent trade. It was nothing to write home about, but it was one of those reports that we always traded. Now we have a trap trade set up for it, but it's not currently on the DMM because it hasn't been reversing. All right. So I certainly don't want people taking a trap trade when it's not reversing. I am watching oil. So last night the price burst
Effective Fed funds rate unchanged at
50 ticks to the
3.64%
upside and
24%.
reversed in a nanosecond. Our trap would have been 30.45 or 20.45 even possibly. Forget the exact setup, but it would have been a safe trap and it would have been a moneymaker because it reversed instantly. Now, I hate to play shoulda, woulda, coulda. I'm not playing shoulda, woulda, coulda. I'm playing how did the report do when we tested it? That's what I'm playing. All right. I traded it. That was my test. I traded it. All right. I trade a lot of reports that I don't tell you guys to trade. Trying to figure out why my webcam is looking weird on the internet. Anyway, so I got completely stopped because it was a total whipsaw. I'll show you the video after we're done. If just remind me later to show you the video. But it was so obvious that you needed to buy the currency after the trade failed. So I bought it back, extra contracts. I made all my money back, plus like $25. But the point is, we didn't
Order
have the
submitted.
room because it's not a reliable report. And the way it behaved last night proved that it's not reliable because last night it was a phenomenal trap and it hasn't been reversing great. So
Order submitted.
the only way to trade it is with a trap, in my opinion, because that way you're not going to get blasted for an immediate $400 or $500 loss. I think we're on the wrong side of this trade, this oil trade. I really do. I just don't enjoy this oil trade even slightly, folks. Not even slightly. And I know Chantal loves it. Chantal makes money on this oil trade. Chantal, are you here? Did you trade it short? Not in? Why not? You didn't get filled? Or you won't trade it short? Um, if this goes against me, I'm only willing to let it break the range. I'm not willing to take a full stop. Even though where the stop should be, look, we've got nice downward movement. Nice downward movement. So maybe I'll just bite the bullet, let it break the VWAP. Let it break the VWAP if it wants to take me out. That's how I'll do it. I'll bite the bullet. It's nice to know you've changed the trade and not notified me. Thank you for that. All right. So there has been quite a bit of downward oil movement this morning. However, we're on the wrong side of the momentum. The momentum is pushing up a little bit at the moment. So what Chantal did is when the range is small, she just increases the ticks above and below by a tick. And it makes sense. Make the market work a little bit harder. And it's only one tick, but if the
BBC
range is
says Britain
small,
is to
it
pause the
means
process for
the
ratifying
open
the
was not
Kagan Islands
very
deal.
impactful. So make the market work a little bit harder to put you in. And it might protect you. Like this morning, it did protect her, maybe, from being short. Now, being short may not be as bad as I was thinking initially. It might not be. There is a lot of downward movement. I am concerned about the momentum. I am a little bit concerned about the momentum and the bullishness of oil in general. Now, I'm going to put on the RTY chart. I'm from Boston. Yeah, I hate this oil trade. I just despise everything about it. There's nothing about this trade that I like. RTY, I have a market open trade thanks to Roz. We're going to load the template. RTY Roz open. We're going to date it today. We're going to date it today. It's today the 26th. It's the 25th. And this filthy animal of an oil trade is not going to work, it looks like.
Order filled.
So oil lets me down. Our RTY open is a range trade open. 929.50 is the start of the range. Ticks above the range is 6. Ticks below the range is 6. Show the range graphics on chart. Label the trade RTY open. Start the range 929.50. 929.50. End the range 930.10. 2 contracts, 12 tick target, 25 tick stop. That's our setup. Label it RTY open. And that's a setup that I like. All right. So that's my RTY open trade. Now the YM just gave us a signal to take a short. I'm waiting on the open. We've had some nice shorts in the morning. If you took this trade, your stop would be 10 ticks above the low, the high of the day. It's not a very high risk trade. It's not a very high risk trade. You got a couple of new highs of the day that were made. But this oil trade is just so unenjoyable for me. If you're going to trade oil in the morning, you got to spend, it's like yesterday. You have to spend the proper amount of time to manage the trade. We have a little bit too much going on, in my opinion, to trade this oil trade the best possible way. And it has inconsistency. I don't care what anybody says. It has inconsistency. You have to change the setup because the range is different. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just not been, it's been very difficult to trade. It's been difficult to trade. I'm not enjoying it. And life is short. I like to enjoy the trades I'm going to trade. I don't mind getting stopped out. This trade bothers me so much to get stopped out. It just does because I don't like the trade. It's like getting stopped on a bond report, you know? Those trades I hate. Why do I hate them? Because they don't give us a lot of profit anymore. This oil trade, I loved it when it was working, right? When it stopped working, it's very, very difficult to to keep trading when you're not making money. So this particular prop account, number 37, like I said, let me show you real quickly what happened last night with Australia. It was pretty dramatic. If you traded the breakout, which I did, I traded the breakout in a moment of complete insanity. But I traded the breakout because I know the Australia quarterly report. I know it. And it's usually better over the history of the report. It's better as a breakout. But trading at 7:30 is crappy liquidity and volume. There's a million reasons not to trade the report at 7:30 Eastern time. Also, the DMM smells rotten. It's rotten to the core almost. So watch what happens. Australia trades on the left. Very little volume. Low volume. I traded an extra contract because I thought the breakout was going to be great. It fills me almost at the top of the candle. 50 tick spike pulls back more than my stop. My stop was 25 ticks. Now, 50 tick stop, I'm still in the trade. So maybe that's the answer if you're going to trade it as a breakout. Only quarterly would I consider as a breakout. But then I bought the market back because a lot of times when a currency trade fails and it does that kind of pullback, you're going to get a continuation in the direction of the original move, and that's what it did. It gave me a direction in the original move. I made back about 3/4 of my trade when it was over, of the loss initial, and then I took a second trade. I made money on the original trade, and then I put another trade back on when it pulled back right there. I went to sleep, and when I woke up an hour later, I don't have it recorded, but it hit my target back towards the high of the day, and I made all my money back plus $25. That's a lot of work to trade a lousy report, right? That's too much work to trade a lousy report. So, Chantal, what was your fill? What was your fill? I need to fix my webcam. It's hard for me to fix it because the internet is delayed, so I can't tell if I'm fixing it. Anyway, so the big question today is, will the garbage men pick up the garbage? That's a big question where I'm located because of the snow. Will they pick up the garbage? Now, that was not a great short signal. Think about whether you would have taken that short signal on the YM. Up almost 200 points, getting closer to the open. Lot of reasons why that was not a good signal to take. Okay? A lot of good reasons that might not have been a good signal to take. This might be a better signal. However, we're getting closer to the open. So it is a big decision if you're going to trade before the open. You know, signals before the open in general are a little bit riskier because there's a lot of pent up energy waiting for that market open that is not being released on these signals. Anyway, I'm done with oil. Oil got me. Goodbye, oil. We're going to put our MNQ up. I'm increasing my MNQ stop because yesterday we would have had a monster trade with a bigger stop. And in general, the markets are more volatile than they've been, and increasing the stop on MNQ makes sense. I've been only using a 125 stop. It's not that much for MNQ. So we'll put our MNQ back. Our normal open, MNQ 0326. I'm just daydreaming a little bit. Forgive me. Daydreaming a little bit. I want to see something real quick. Let me put my reverse continue on the MNQ. So in the morning, I almost always put a couple of contracts on the chart for a reverse continue. Just a discretionary trade with a 75 tick stop. Now, what's interesting about the reverse continue and everybody should always use it. Make it a part of your everyday trading because when the new magnet comes out, the reverse continue, if you have all of our software, it's so easy to use the traditional reverse continue and just throw it on all your charts. That's what I recommend. Always have it available. So if the market gives you an
Seeing here, according
opportunity
to
to get
sources, Saudi
in
Arabia boost oil output,
and you
exports
want to
for
take a
US
quick reverse
agri-rush
continue,
season.
that's the point. The market often gives an opportunity. Label it MNQ, reverse continue,
Further detail into this end, Saudi Arabia is increasing its oil production
and we're
and
trading
exports
it
as
in our
part of the
MNQ
contingency
funded
plan in
account.
case any US strike on Iran
All right,
disrupts
so very
supplies from the
simple.
Middle
That's
East,
that.
according to two sources familiar with the plan said on Wednesday.
And then we have our market open account, trade, not account. Let's put it on. News trader gets clicked. I'm going to template. I'm loading a template. MNQ new open. That's what it's called. It's a good idea to get into the habit of making templates. MNQ new open. Right click and rename it today's date so it's always current. I date every template. I say the same things over and over. Good morning there, BP. Blessed profits. And our breakout trade is a trigger at 929.59 with a 35 bracket. I'm going to update the template. Been using that slightly smaller bracket, so I'm going to resave the template with that bracket size. So I'm going to find the template and resave it. After I've hit apply, you must hit apply to change the
Voice
setup.
news disconnected.
Okay. So MNQ new open. I'm going to right click it and actually I'm going to click it, my mistake, and save it. And now it's updated. All right. 929.59 with a bracket of 35. Positions are up to you. It all depends on how much risk you want to take. I usually trade 3 and 1, 3 on target 1, 1 on target 2, and my target 35 and 100. I go to break even if my first target gets hit. And I'm going to up my stop right now to 160. But I like to prefer, if you have time. Yesterday, what I didn't do is I didn't use market structure. Not even that. Support and resistance was perfect for the stop yesterday. The trade could have been protected better with a better, more intelligent stop yesterday. Today we're at the high, so it's different in terms of levels. Let's put our time on 0 because we're going to just double check our brackets. Put the charts on sim, which they're on. That YM was a nice reversal. Definitely need to take more of those in the morning. Forget about the open and just take some. It's fun. What the heck? What am I doing? Nothing. Leave it on sim. We're going to check our bracket.
Order submitted.
All right.
Order
That's a
canceled.
manageable bracket size. A bracket size. I'm going to get rid of our highlight the breakout trade. Uncheck show vertical line on entry. You could test the bracket one more time. The MNQ is
Order submitted.
got some movement.
Order canceled.
Markets are waking up. Definitely waking up. Go back to 929.59 on our trigger. 35 on our bracket, 160 on our stop. Targets, as I said, size of targets up to you for risk. I'm using 35 and 100 for my actual target 135. Target 2 is 100. And then I'm trading it in my funded account, my MNQ market open funded account. Put your chart trader on the account you're trading it on. And now our MNQ is ready to go. I do like to look at the MNQ magnet signals in the morning. So if you just throw a magnet, particularly the new one, obviously. Now, new magnet, where I'm going to have I decided how I want to do this software release. I want to do it properly. There's a lot of things that need to be set up properly to trade the new magnet. So next Monday, I'm going to have a release webinar. Next Monday, release webinar. Show everyone how to install, set it up. So next Monday is going to be the official release. And if you come to the webinar, it will definitely help you set everything up. So I'll let you know what time the webinar is. I didn't even do the schedule yet for next week. Magnet trade, right now it could be off. I'm just looking for signals. I'm not trading it. All right. If I want to take a trade, and this is why putting the reverse continue and having it on a chart is so important. If the reverse continue is on your chart all the time and it's so easy to put it on, then if you're watching magnet signals and you want to take a trade, you've got a real easy way to get in and out of the market safely. Okay? All right, so we have a lot going on, but don't let it confuse you. All right? Don't let it confuse you. Now, I'm not trading the actual magnet strategy, so it doesn't matter that it happens to be on in sim. However, it's kind of silly. Why have it on in sim? What if you get half an hour from now, we get an unbelievable setup and your strategies in sim you forget? So you might as well have all your strategies on the same account at the time, and don't forget to label it. All right, let's make sure we label it MGC, so it's different from the YM. All right, MGC is labeled, and we're on that funded account. Nothing else changes. We're just watching signals. Now on the YM, we've done a nice pullback off of the high and the low so that you can take a high of day, low of day magnet now on the YM. We have our reverse continue, can turn off the YM magnet, right? Go back to the setup, highlight it, and what did we have originally this morning when we first traded off first? We had a one position magnet where we went for the -3 target. That's 3 ticks before it gets to the high or to the low. It took you out. All right. And then we had, hey, if you go 12 ticks through the magnet, that's our second position. So if you think the YM on the open is going to keep going, you can take that second position. target one stop move. If it hits the first target, why not protect your target? I like to protect profit if I hit my first target. That's how I generally like to trade. Not everybody agrees with that. All right. Not everybody does things the way that I do. And you don't have to. Now, don't forget, though, to put it back on high of day, low of day. Now it's a high of day, low of day magnet. So we have to redo our, not redo, but we have to set up our orders. Apply it and okay it. When you turn on a high of day, low of day magnet, your orders show up, right? Don't forget, your orders show up. If you don't change them, then they're random. They're pretty random where they're getting entered, right? I like to have, I love 20 tick profit on a magnet. You can't always get it on the first target. Sometimes you can get much more, but in the morning, sometimes it's tough. Here we're buying at 61, and we do have about 20 ticks a target to get to the high. A little bit more. So you could, but there's no great structure to speak of at the moment. You know, you're just letting the open pull you in. All right, so let's see what happens. Let's see which direction this market goes on the open. I would make my magnet automatic in the morning by turning on the auto mode for the open. Friday, what I'm going to do, Roz, is I'm having a webinar, doing a webinar with Rightline, which we do a lot. Going to talk about the magnet, going to give anybody who's not a member an opportunity to join, and Monday will be the official release. So what I'll do is make sure the software is up. I don't want people mucking up their systems. People already are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. I want to make sure that everybody updates their Ninja before you do anything. And I've given real clear instructions on everybody updating, backing up their Ninja. It's something people don't do in general. People forget. You should back up your Ninja. I don't mean update, I mean back up. You should back up your Ninja every week. Once a week at least. And if you're getting ready to do a big installation of something new, like this has a template file, it's a wise
One minute to go now
time
to
to
get
do
the
a
macro
backup.
node open. Imbalance data.
Because things happen. What happens is other programs that people have installed are often creating compiling issues. And Ninja is very strict about letting programs compile. And if you get a compile error, everybody thinks it's us, that it's our fault, but it's not. It's other programs that, like Nitin had a friend who just joined and she couldn't install our software. It wasn't our fault. It was other installations in her Ninja. And that's why if you back
10
up,
seconds.
you don't wind up with a Ninja that might be inoperable. You know, sometimes it could really
Order
screw things
submitted.
up when you try to do things.
Order submitted. Order
Marker and open
filled.
imbalance. S&P 500 buy side
Order submitted.
177 million. Nasdaq 100 buy side 17 million.
Now, I
Order
might have
Dow
submitted.
gotten
30
too
buy side
close to my
55.3
trail
million.
here,
Maximum buy side 2.9
but I don't
million.
think so.
Order filled.
I'm expanding my targets,
Order submitted.
expanding my targets. Expanding my trail. I probably got too close. Expanding, expanding, trailing on this MNQ. Now my RTY, I'm expanding my MNQ even more. I'm just going to keep trailing this if I can. Just keeps going up. I'll keep expanding it.
Order filled.
Yeah, I'm a little bit unhappy about the YM. So that was a very nice trade on the, I think I'm going to get stopped on the YM though.
Order filled.
Yep. I mean, it's the first time I've been stopped on the YM in a while. Trying to figure out what the heck is going on with my RTY. I don't see my orders. Am I on the wrong? Yeah, I'm on the wrong chart. Maybe. Yep. Maybe. So my RTY got stopped, it looks like. RTY got stopped. RTY was a stop. First loss in a while. I had it on the wrong chart, so I didn't see it, which, it's going to happen, folks. Every trade can't be a winner. The YM, it just didn't follow through on that darn move. It just didn't follow through. I do think the YM is bullish, though, but I don't think I want to scalp it. I don't think I want to scalp it. Because I'm not quite getting the kind of push that I want to get. We had a really, it was a $150 winner on the MNQ Open, which is amazing for an MNQ Open. That's a lot of money on an MNQ Open. That was a big move. That was a big move. The RTY heard it this morning. And look, like I said, you're going to get trades that don't work, especially on the open. Especially on the open. The YM is disappointing. It just didn't push. It didn't push. I'm tempted to take a long on the YM with a stop below the VWAP, but it's not, it doesn't have a good signal. It's not the right momentum. It just might just bite the bullet this morning. Just bite the bullet. Leave it be. And just wait on another day. That's what I'm thinking, because it does not have the right momentum for a long. I will not take a long with short momentum. I won't. It might still work, but I want to increase my odds, not decrease them. Now, one of the things also is when you have so many setups, when you have this many setups, it's sometimes hard to properly manage. The RTY, you can pretty much just let it run. That's a simple, let it run, see what happens, right? But the YM needs a little more management, I think. It's a little bit more nuanced. Because with a little more management this morning, I might have gotten out early. I might have. Now, the question is it holding here? Is it holding? Momentum is still against it, so I'm not jumping in. So I'm really just watching. We do have a 10 o'clock oil room, so I'm not going to shut the room down. We might take a few minutes Now you can turn off your MNQ breakout. You don't need that on anymore. Okay? And you don't need it. Hang on. I don't need it on. Did I never, I thought that I did set up. Oh, I see what I did. Now it's interesting. Bear with me. I'm just looking at something. Yeah. I was thinking, why didn't we get a signal, but we didn't test the level? So there wasn't there there was no signal because no level was tested here. That's why.
Oil
Okay.
flips to negative and trades below
Now
$66 a barrel.
RTY is selling off. We don't need our RTY open anymore. That can be removed. That's the range trade. Okay. Now, is the RTY going to test the low? Maybe. Maybe. There's some risk there. Stop above the VWAP if I was going to do it. You got nice momentum.
Order submitted.
I'll take a shot with a small RTY above the VWAP and see if it'll push down a little bit. Now YM gave a VWAP signal. So the RTY, there's a little too much positivity in the market. That's a little bit concerning. I'd like to see the YM push down rather than go up. So my RTY, I might close it with a small profit if I get the opportunity. It's a tough one. Now the MNQ gave a short signal. YM seems to be pushing down a little bit.
Seeing the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index hitting record high, last up 1.5%.
RTY trying to get, I'm going to see if it'll give me a little scalp here. I can't get it. Come on.
Order filled.
All right, little scalp, 75 bucks out of the RTY. There's a little bit of positivity in the market that has me concerned. YM is not pushing down. MNQ is making new highs. So I'll just take that small scalp out of the RTY and wait. Yeah, Roz, it's gonna happen. I mean, the RTY open's been great. It's been a great trade. See now the YM, it did eventually change momentum. And it did give a signal that is not very profitable yet. Okay, but it looks like the YM might be going back to test the high. but it's a big stop now below the VWAP. So you got to decide, do you want to do a quick scalp on the YM?
Order submitted.
Do you? Put your stop below the previous candle. See if it'll push a little bit. Give you something. MNQ just keeps bursting, bursting, bursting. And then I just might be late on the YM. I just might be late. So there's a little bit. Let's go. Just give me a little bit of a scalp. That's all I want. MNQ is still popping. MNQ, wow, it's just relentless. It was relentless. And the YM is going to get me. Now, should the stop be below the VWAP? Absolutely. It's got to be. It's got to be. You got to take the risk. You have to. It has to be below the VWAP. It's bullish. If it breaks the VWAP, then I gave it a shot. I gave it a proper shot. And I think if it survives here, it may get closer to the high. And then after this, we'll take a break and we will wait for oil. And YM is just not making it. It's just not making it. Tried really hard on the YM this morning. It's just not doing it. Now, RTY did decide to make that low. Now, remember what we said the other day. If you buy a YM contract now, you keep your stop pretty much in the same place, but it makes, if it changes direction and stays with a change, then you have a better chance of having a positive trade. You buy a contract at the market, and I'm going to do it because I'm crazy,
Order
and
filled.
then you update your orders so that if you get stopped or you don't, you have an opportunity, your orders are correct. Now, if it goes up, it makes it easier to get out of the trade profitably. So let's see if we get the VWAP holding. MNQ is still pushing up. The RTY has started to push up now. So maybe we'll get some cooperation out of the YM. I'm 10 ticks below the VWAP. That's my line in the sand. And if it doesn't work, that's life. Tomorrow's another day. Now, you're going to ignore short signals on the MNQ. I'm certainly going to ignore them at the moment. If we could only get the YM to cooperate. We almost had it. It went flat. The MNQ is still pushing up. That's unbelievable. I'm not going to take signals on the MNQ this morning short. You can just ignore them. Too much bullishness. Now, eventually, you're going to get a signal that's going to be amazing. Eventually. Now, the YM, is it going to go test the high? That's the real question.
Order filled.
So we got a little bit back out of that YM double the contract. You see what I'm talking about? Um, Scalp. But that was stressful. That was stressful. Okay. But you see the importance of the levels for stops? If we just had left our stop higher as a random stop, it would have gotten us. Now, I do think the YM is going to go back and test the high. I don't know if I don't want to have a heart attack, so I'm not sure I want to take the trade. Because your stop's got to be the VWAP. It's a big stop. And that's a funded account that was, hurt by the YM open not working. Okay. So we made a little bit back. My temptation is to just
US
leave
Stock
it.
610 gains, Nasdaq up
It
1%.
looks like it's really going to push to the high, though. You can trade the magnet. You can turn the magnet back on, high of day, low of day, right? There's your order. It's a little bit close. It's not a very big profit. It's buying at 75. It's taking you out at 89. There's a possibility that magnet's going to work. And it's a two contract. That was a two contract magnet. Because remember, we had a second target 12 ticks above. So it is my funded account. My gut feeling is I'm going to wait until tomorrow to rework, go back to that account, but I'll leave the magnet so we can watch it. The YM has only made one high of the day, and it didn't even make a new high on the open. So I'm a little bit concerned that it's not going to do it. It's not going to follow through. It failed. It almost got there on the open. It failed. And it was a big fail. But it interestingly failed to the VWAP. 1, 2, 3 times. Right? And look at the MNQ. It's still going. It's still going. Now, did we do anything wrong on that trade? No. I mean, trailed too tight, right? We didn't do anything stupid. We trailed too tight. That's all. Yes, Ranjit, to answer your question, if you have a pro membership subscription, so as soon as the new magnet is out, you'll have access to it. Yes. Okay. I just saw your question. Sorry about that. Anyone that has a regular subscription, will have access to the new software. Now, if it was a brand new product, then it would be different, right? A brand new product, something that this is an upgrade. So I suppose we could have, it wouldn't have been very nice to do it as a new product. I don't think that's reasonable by any means. Now now I'm thinking there's going to be a short signal on the MNQ that's going to really bring home some serious funds. Because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 15 new highs. 15. And it's got another one. There's going to be another short signal. You still don't want to go short because you're positive momentum. You are getting lower volume. Maybe. Maybe. Now we're kind of just hanging because we're just waiting for our oil room. So I'm just talking, right? Did I show you the Australia trade? No, I never actually showed you. No, I did. We looked at the Australia trade. Now we have a filter, and I'm full transparency. I'm learning about the filter with the program. It's very complicated. I don't totally understand the filters. There may be a way. We're trying to filter some of those shorts, but I have to go through all my notes. Now, there is going to be a short signal on the MNQ next candle. Notice the YM is not getting to that new high. I think, certainly at the moment, our YM trade was as good as it could have been. I mean, I think we left a little bit on the table, but if we would have stayed in for a test of the high, we might be sorry, right? We'd be giving up our profits right now. So I'm not sorry that I scalped the YM the way that we did. I was thinking go for the high, but in looking at the market, we didn't even get there on the open, so I thought the scalp might make more sense. The RTY, now we're not trading the open anymore. It's almost 10 o'clock. But the RTY, is it going to test the low at some point? It's not that big a range this morning. Because there's the high, and there's the low. But that was one wild MNQ market open trade. That was awesome. Did everybody understand just the way to manage that trade? To just keep expanding the target and keep trailing? I suppose if you just left the stop alone, well, it never would have hit our target because you would have kept expanding it. So that's why you trail. Um, I mean, what if the market goes up for 5 hours? If you could just have a target and not move it, and then if it hits it, you're out. But if the market goes up for 30 minutes straight, if you keep trailing and moving your target, you might make a lot more money. The downside of that is if you keep trailing your stop, eventually you're going to get taken out on a slight change in direction, depending how aggressively you trail your stop. You can also turn on auto trailing in the software. The software can trail on its own. So I'm going to take 3 minutes and then I'll come back and we'll get ready for oil. I'm going to close our YouTube stream. So Ranjit, we're going to close our YouTube stream now. Thanks for joining. Thanks everyone on YouTube. Ranjit, why don't you come into the trade room? If you're a member, you can come
Oracle
in the
extends
trade room.
gains to 3.8% after Oppenheimer upgrade.
Now the MNQ might be giving you that good short signal, right? Thanks again, everyone on YouTube.